In today's video, I'm going to show you how to build an audience of buyers. And this is something that I struggled with when I first started creating content. I thought I knew it all and I knew how to grow and everything would just be okay once I grow my following and people would buy my stuff. That is so far from wrong. In fact, when I launched my first product, I made one sale and I had around 15,000 followers. It was terrible. But once I changed a few things, which I learned along the way from paying for a few programs like Tom Nosky and just learning through books and experience, I've been able to build an audience of buyers and I've been able to do the same for my clients. So without further ado, let's get into the video. Oh, my drawings, how can I forget? That's your buyer, you know, he's got a light bulb. He's like, oh yeah, this is the man. Here's my bread. The other guy's like, nah, my hands in my pockets and I ain't letting up a single penny. You know, I've been really interested in recently Clash Royale. If you man have ever played Clash Royale, you know how it is, man. I've just been addicted, I ain't gonna lie. Okay, I'm gonna run through a few things that you shouldn't do and then a few things that you should do, and then you basically don't do the things that I tell you not to do and do the things I tell you to do, and your audience will become more open to purchasing your products or services. So do not do this. Do not just focus on one type of content. And if you've followed me for a while, you will know what I'm talking about. There's three types of content that you can create. You've got growth content, authentic content, and then authority content. The thing that I was focused on when I first began content, and 99.9% of creators focus on, and rightly so, because you start off, you've only got like 1 digit, 2 digit, maybe 3 digit followers or subscribers. And you're like, I want to grow. I want people to know me. I need more people to see my stuff, which is granted. So you focus on growth content. You focus on growth content. And because you focus on growth content, you ignore the other two content types that actually make someone want to buy from you or even interested in buying from you. So you create growth content and you grow to 10,000 followers, 20,000 followers, 1,000 subscribers, 10,000 subscribers. And then you're like, yeah, let me release my product, which is exactly what I did. And literally got one buyer. Bear in mind, this product was about $20, £20, something like that. It was a preset pack for editors. One sale. Pathetic. Flipping pathetic. Now, the other types of content we have is authority. And it's pretty self-explanatory. It's content that shows that you are an authority, someone that they should trust, someone that they should listen to, and someone that can guide them to the destination that they want to get to. Then you have authentic content. And authentic content is when you show them a side of you which they wouldn't typically see in your regular content, where you're being more vulnerable, expressing your feelings more, expressing your opinions, showing losses, showing successes, wins. And I'm not trying to say you need to do up lifestyle content like, you know, this is me on holiday and all of that stuff. But there's ways around it which you can, you know, let them into some things that you just wouldn't talk about when you talk about your expertise in your growth content or your authority in your growth content or authority in your content. So don't focus on one type. I think that might be dyslexic or some shit. Number 2, do not solely focus on just educating. Now, this one is a bit nuanced depending on what platform you're on, but genuinely, if you're on short form platforms, a lot of people just tend to focus on educating. Here's information, here's information, here's value, here's value, here's value. And they never really go past that. And technically, this even ties into growth content, authentic content, and authority content, which is why you never build an audience of buyers, and why when you know, say, hey, I'm taking on new clients, or hey, there's a product that I have that can solve this problem for you, they're just like, I don't know. It's because you're solely focused on educating. And of course, you will get some buyers, and it's great to educate and give information and give value. Like, that should be the soul of your content. That should be the core. Because if you're like a business owner, you're probably in the field of info or knowledge or whatever you want to call it. And that's going to be the base of your content. But if you solely focus on educating, you will not go far. What you want to do instead, you want to inspire and guide. And the easiest way to put this is you need to tell more stories, right? And of course, I'm not saying stories can't be educational, but stories mask the education, right? You guys have heard of the Trojan horse story where was it the Greeks hid inside the Trojan horse for the city of, was it Troy? And then the seat members of Troy let the horse in, and then once they went to sleep, the Greeks or whatever came out and conquered the city. Now you're like, oh, that's a story, right? Obviously, I told the story shit because I don't really know the story like that. But there's literally an educational lesson behind the story is, you know, your enemies are closer than you think, or looks can be deceiving. And that's how you get more people to listen to you, more people to connect, and more people to really trust you. Storytelling. And the easier, if you want a separate video on storytelling alone, I'm going to make another video on that because I've actually learned some new techniques recently. When it comes to storytelling, all it is someone starts at point A, and they end up at point B. That's literally it. And in between, there's challenges or challenge / problems. There's stakes. So if they fail the challenge or problem, they're going to lose something because something's at stake. Someone or something helps them. Almost a guide. That's what they call it. And gives them a plan, and that's how they get to point B. That's literally all the story is. I can break this down even further on a separate video, but that's besides the point. You're probably focusing on just educating, and you need to be telling stories. You don't need to be the best storyteller. Like, we're not making movies out here. It doesn't need to be all cinematic and stuff. Literally just tell your story of how a client or how you was at point A and how you got to point B. Describe how you were feeling, the challenges you faced, what changed, what was the paradigm shift? Was someone the paradigm shift, or was something the paradigm shift? What was at stake if you didn't achieve the result? And then how did you actually end up at point B? By the way, if you are a business owner and you want to double your business revenue within the next 45 days, there's a link in the description to work with me one-on-one. I've done this for Nero Knowledge. He tripled, quadrupled his business revenue. Gavin Speaks, Maxine, they just get more opportunities, more leads, more business revenue, more attention. They're seen as an authority in their space, and more people know them and what they have to offer. If that sounds like you, check it out. With that being said, back to the video. And number 3, another thing that you shouldn't do. Do not be a hero. Everyone's the hero of their own lives. We wake up and we're like, oh, what am I going to eat? What am I going to do today? What do I have planned? To a certain extent, everyone's egotistical, or whatever you want to call it. They think about themselves first because they're the hero of their own story, right? They want to achieve things. They want to avoid things. They have their own problems. Like, you have your own problems to overcome. You're the hero of your own story. If I came and I'm just like, hey, I'm the hero. I'm going to guide you to somewhere that you want to go. A hero never guides a hero. That doesn't make sense. Imagine you're watching a movie, a superhero movie, and Spider-Man is like trying to overcome crime or overcome a challenge and beat a boss, and another hero comes, hey, let me just do it for you. There's literally no point in that, right? What you want to be instead, and what you need to do instead of being a hero, be a guide. Be someone that can be like, hey, I've done it before. I've been here before, and you're trying to get here. Let me give you the steps and the suggestions and the requirements to let you know, to prepare yourself for it, and let you know what you need to overcome the challenges you're currently facing so you can get to your desired destination. That's literally it. You want to be a guide, and everyone that you watch online is literally a guide. It's never really about them. It's always about you. It's always about where they can get you or how they can help you. And this is content as a whole. And it's a mistake I see a lot of people make. Is they try and make it all about them. You know, like, yeah, you can do your own transformation videos if you're like a fitness coach, how you went from, skinny to fit or fat to fit, but that's going to inspire them to take action. So really, it's not even about you. It's about what you've done, and they just see themselves in you and they want to become you, you know? But everything else is all about how you can help them. Never really focus on you unless it's where they want to go and it's something that they can learn from you, essentially. And side note, this is why YouTube's kind of like the best platform, because videos are so much longer. You can educate, you can grow, you can educate, you can be an authority, and you can be authentic all in one video. You can let people know who you are. Speaking about knowing who you are, I'm gonna move out this year. I still live at home with my mom, but I think it's time. It's been something I've been thinking about for a while, to be fair. And everyone's always like, "Don't move out, it's expensive out here." And I'm like, "Yeah, it is." So what? Like, it's gonna happen eventually, right? Plus, maybe it will light a fire underneath my ass to get shit done. Anyway, with that being said, that's all the things that you shouldn't do. Here's the things that you should try and focus on instead. Let me start using green. Do I have green? Yeah. You want to focus on being known. So being known is simply just growth content. It's essentially becoming more discoverable, people actually knowing who you are. But not only that, if you want an audience of buyers, they need to know that you sell something. And the mistake that I made early in my journey is, I feel weird trying to promote my own services or promote my own products. It's not right. Oh, I'm being salesy, and that would lead me to promoting what I sell once a month. And every single one of the biggest things that I've learned is, even when I started promoting more, some people will be like, "Oh, I didn't even know you do this," or "I didn't know you have this solution or have this offer." And I was like, "Bro, I promoted this like 2 times last week. Come on, man, like, promote more. And I'm not saying just spam your Instagram or spam your YouTube with like, "Hey, buy my shit, buy my shit, buy my shit." But you could have a schedule. Like, this is the way I do it. Have a schedule. Like, there's 7 days in a week, right? How about you promote your paid stuff twice a week? How about you promote your free stuff 3 times a week? And then the other 2 days is totally up to you if you want to have a call to action. Maybe you could do the free stuff 5 times, or you can do the free stuff 4 times and paid stuff 3 times. Or maybe if you're promoting something else, like, instead of, like, the free stuff could be a newsletter, but let's say you're running a webinar, you can now do the Webby as your promotion. Still free, maybe paid, but maybe lower ticket. This could be your one-on-one or group coaching. Choose when you're going to promote it and just stick to them. And typically, sometimes even 2 is not enough. But if you're promoting on different platforms, like twice on YouTube, twice in your email list, twice on Instagram per week, it's just getting the reps out there and just becoming more known. And this is another thing. I'm going to make a video of how I would blow up, or how I would grow my social media if I had to start all over again. And one of the first things that I would do, bro, I would use this. This is an iPhone, and I would post twice a day, 3 times per day. For me, the beginning of the journey is all about volume. Like, fuck the quality. Anyway, next is being liked. Now, an issue here, people try, you might have even tried this. You try too hard to be liked, You're not stepping on anyone's toes because you're like, "Oh, I'm not trying to, make people hate me, or I don't want no one to hate me. I just want everyone to like me." So you won't say that Androids are shit and iPhones are better. You won't say certain things about, like, maybe you think a book is shit, or you think an author shit, or you think a football team shit, or you think anime shit. By the way, not Hunter x Hunter. Attack on Titans is so mid. It's probably the worst anime I've watched. But, but you're like, you need to be able to express your opinions and stand on business, and that's what's gonna help you be liked. And the one thing about it is, some people will like you just because they like you. Some people will hate you just because they hate you. You have definitely encountered someone in your life that just doesn't like you or isn't fond of you for no reason. You could just be existing, you could just be breathing, and people are like, I don't know, I don't think I like this guy that much, or they'll chat shit about you to their friends. So trying to be liked by everyone is just a dumb game to play. Stand on business. And the people that will like you will eventually love you, because you're not flip-flopping, you know? Like you're on soft or some shit. Hey, yo, that's crazy. And the last one is trust. Now, there's 3 ways to build trust. Yeah. There's 3 ways to build trust. To build trust, you can be an authority and show that you're an authority. So if someone's wearing a police uniform, you're going to trust them, right? They're an authority. You're like, he's serving the public. He's here to help. He's not going to try and rob me. That's why when like someone in a police uniform does something bad or does something that they're not meant to do, everyone's like, oh my gosh, how could they do this? How could they do this? Because it's not something that is normally done with someone of that authority. If someone's wearing a lab coat and they're telling you, 98% of people die from this illness, you're going to be like, yeah, he knows what he's talking about. Or when he's talking about a study and he brings out numbers, 62.8% of people like anime, and those people are weird or some shit. Like, if they're wearing a lab coat or they're in a uniform that symbols some sort of authority or position in society, you're going to trust them more. If you see a personal trainer that's fit, got muscle, hench, and is like, hey, I can help you build muscle, you're going to be like, damn right. Like, nigga, look at you, you're hench. Whereas if someone that was like skinny, like super skinny, no muscle mass, and they're like, hey, I can help you gain 20 pounds of muscle in the next 60 days, you're going to be like, yeah, sure. How about you do it for yourself? You know what I mean? So you can be an authority. The next way to build trust is through time, which is what a lot of people rely on, and which is why it is difficult. So you've probably heard of the 7-Eleven rule. You need 7 hours on average and 11 interactions or different touch points for someone to trust you. That's just time. The longer someone spends with you, the more likely they are to trust you. It's like when you first meet your friend. Like, imagine your best friend when you first met them, or someone that you just became friends with. When you first met them, you're like, not saying too much. As time went on, you started speaking more. Days went by and you started speaking more. You're like, yeah, you're a lot more comfortable. You're a lot more trusting of them. You'll probably be more vulnerable around them. You'll trust them with certain things. That's just time. And buyers are exactly the same. And the last one is connection. We're social beings. We thrive on connection. When you connect with someone, you are more likely to trust them, which is why I always say you need to incorporate all 3 types of content: growth, authentic, and authority. And authentic is super underrated. This is when you talk about things that really reveal who you are. It could be superficial things like, do you like anime? Do you like certain types of music? What kind of people do you like? What do you do in your free time? To deeper things like, how did you grow up? Have you done anything drastic that people can relate with? For example, I grew up poor. I don't like saying that because it's like, I guess it's a vulnerable thing to me anyway. I'm just like, damn, growing up poor, it's kind of embarrassing. Like nigga, what? You grew up with no bread? You get what I'm trying to say? But there's other people that grew up the same way. Like, we couldn't afford the trainers that we wanted to buy, and we seen other kids with the trainers. Like, that's literally how I felt. Or guys with this different tracksuits every day. Like, nigga, I remember rocking one tracksuit for months, bro, months. Still got that tracksuit to this day. I remember one time I came into sixth form and came in and people just started laughing. I was just like, what's funny? And they were like, yo, we made a bet and we said AJ is gonna show up in that same tracksuit. I said, bro, that's crazy. Like that's how deep it got. But based on connection, that's when people will like you. So superficial, deeper. And also, I guess you could say relatable, you know? It's just based on, if someone can relate to you, they're more likely to trust you. And if you can hit all three, again, this is what YouTube's the goal. Longer videos, people spend more time with you. You can demonstrate authority, whether it's visually or just verbally or testimonial, social proof, anything. You can be more relatable. You can build connections. You can be liked because people are going to spend more time with you anyway, and you can stand on business and just be firm. And once they see you repeating the same brand message and the same concept over your videos, they'll be like, yes, this is my guy. And then to be known, YouTube is great at finding people that want to watch the videos that you create. If you create a video that's super niched, YouTube will try their best to find people that will watch that video. And there's people out there for every type of video. I started playing Clash Royale recently and I'm starting getting YouTube videos on Clash Royale from this guy called Ken. Bro, I used to watch him back in the day when I played Clash and I'm basically binging him now. Sounds a bit weird, but pause, yeah. Anyway, here's a goal. So if you do this, I guarantee you will build an audience of buyers. And that doesn't necessarily mean you need to grow more to build an audience of buyers. People that already follow you will just turn into buyers. With that being said, I'll catch you guys in the next video.